Okay, so today I'm going to give you a few exercises using Fandangos de Huelva rhythms. And I'm going to put this in the intermediate section because we're going to concentrate a lot. These are simple patterns, but we're going to concentrate on some more advanced ideas. And this is really just working more on the formation of the body, just to put you in a place so that you have a really good base, a really good idea of cornering and isolating the body in different ways in the flamenco sense. So we're just going to run through a few different little exercises. Now these are really good before maybe you start practicing whatever you're going to do for that day, just to really work on stretching the body and getting things coordinated and getting things cornered correctly. It's a one I like to use in my classes on a pretty regular basis to get everybody just warmed up. Okay, so we have a couple of different ones I'm gonna go over. The first one is just in sixes. Okay, this is a pretty common one. This particular exercise also has a functional use when it comes to performance. You can use it as like a marking step in Fandangos, or you can use it as an entrada for Fandangos, for example. So what happens is you walk, starting on the right foot or the left, doesn't matter, and we're going to hold a position up here in about ninth. And so while you're walking, you're going to come 1, 2, 3, and then on 4 or 5 you're going to do jab and toe back here. Now go ahead and let the pelvis go as well, okay? And then I'll show you what to do with the arms here in a minute. So the arms are coming up each time, and eventually you're going to bring them down to the hip. And on this side, the same is true here. So what I'm going to end up doing is going 1, 2, 3, to there. And go ahead and again, let that hip go. It's going to just go for a second and rock back as you come forward. Now, if I start on my right foot, then I end up doing the action back on the left foot. And then the tricky part is, in a way, it's not that tricky, but conceptually it might seem tricky, is going 1, 2, 3, here, and then from there I'm going to step on the left foot to start the other side. So I end up coming here. 1, 2, 3. Notice I take my head, and then 1, 2, 3, chop. Now I haven't started moving in space just yet, but this is meant to move across the floor, move in space. So if I were doing it from the side, you can see I'd be here. I'd come 1, 2, 3, there, and then 1, 2, to there. Okay? Now it's got a sharp accent because if you recall, Fandangos goes, the big one's at the end there. That's exactly what we're doing with our body and with our sounds. So I'm walking 1, 2, 3, 4. I take my head and my hip at the same time as the hands arrive. So now we're coming up the body, as you recall here, to position, and then I start to cheat over to one side, trace the side of my body here to get down into position on the hip. Make sure this elbow doesn't wilt and that your arm doesn't press against your body. You want to keep space under here. So I'm going 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, okay? From the side, same thing. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now notice I'm not going with my walks forward. They're not really meant to be heard. If they're heard a little bit, that's fine, but the function is not percussive. You're just marking. You're just marking time. The percussive sounds are here. Okay? Another exercise we can do for Fandangos is some that move kind of like a waltz, so they move in space, but they flow a little bit more, so they don't have that cut like in the other exercise that we had just done. So the one I'm going to show you now moves across side to side. So number one thing is I start with my hips on the corner. Remember, just off center. They don't have to be way over, but if this is flat, then just slightly on the corner. So this is my starting point. From there, of course, I rotate my body as we've been working here. I want to try to maintain this body positioning until I switch around to the other side. So if I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. So by the time I get around to 1, that's when I switch over my pelvis to the other side. Otherwise, I keep it on this side. And I also keep the body torqued further than the hips. So along this whole sequence here for 6 counts, I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then I start to turn here for 1 and then step on 1. Okay? Now there's a little hold on 2, so you're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's the basic swing of the step. So what am I doing with the arms now? I'm bringing it up the side of the body, as we've studied, and down the center line. So if you saw me flat, I would be here, up the side of the body, and down the center line back to position. What am I doing with the feet? On this one, I'm going to go ahead and bring the knee up. Now, it's up to you how much you want to accent that. You can be minimal about it here and just around. Or as a woman, sometimes you want to kick the skirt up a little bit. You can accent the knee up, which will kind of kick your skirt up at the same time. At any rate, what you want to make sure is that when you lift this foot off the ground, notice my feet are slightly turned out. I want to keep that turnout. I want to keep connection to the floor. So I don't want to just start letting my knee turn in, which is something that happens a lot. People a lot of times will go here, which is bad forming, bad technique. You want to make sure that you keep the turnout and the knees kind of pointing apart from each other, okay? And it really happens, again, as we talked in other videos, it happens in the hip, where your femur in the pelvis rotates. That's what's controlling, that's what sets the tone and the shape for the rest of your leg on the way down. So that keeps your knees pointing in different directions. It keeps your knees in line with the hip, in line with the toes. So when I'm lifting that foot here, for example, and I'm bringing it around, notice I don't let that knee come in. I keep it exactly where it is until it gets around. So I'm going 12, 1, 2, I'm sorry, that's not right. Oh yeah, it is in 6s. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now when I get to 6, I can start to open up. But for the most part with my feet, I'm weaving here. And then I start to turn my hip. Okay? Let's put that together with the upper body now. So if I'm starting here, hips slightly on the corner, body torqued further. I'm going to start with my feet slightly apart because I'm going to step out on this foot. I'm going to come 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you can see how my upper body stays where it is here until putting my weight back on this foot, and then everything readjusts to the other side. The thing you want to concentrate on with this particular step is also stretching the body, opening the body, lengthening the body. This is a really good opportunity to do that because you're bringing one arm up above and you have a stronger side, the side that I'm presenting to the audience or to the onlooker. I really want to open the ribs up and get as much length as I can. So when I go up, I'm gonna go slightly interrelevate, even for a brief moment here. And it's gonna be it's gonna suspend for a little while and then come down. So this is where the rise in the step happens, and then the resolve. So I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. So I'm making my way up and then around. And it's up to you if you want to take the head over the shoulder at the last second. That's just aesthetic choice. But make everything gel together.